I'm here at the Growth Summit with Adele Revella, who's the author of Buyer Personas. And you know, Adele, everybody thinks they know their customer, but they only know them maybe from a demographic perspective. Tell us what we really need to know about the buyer.
Yeah, so people can tell you whether their buyer is a female or a male or how old they are or some other details, but almost no one can tell me how their buyers, when their buyers, why the buyers make the decision to solve the problem that they want them, that they solve, and how the buyer goes about evaluating and weighing their options and choosing one. And yet that's the business we're in. If we're sales and marketing professionals, or if we're the CEO of the company, ultimately we have to be able to persuade people, and we have to do that effectively on our website and through marketing messages and sales plays. And it's just a real handicap to start by making that stuff up.
Yeah, and I thought you made a great point on the stage, which is we're all caught up in kind of big data. And
Yeah.
you said if the decision's quick, something people can make in a few nanoseconds, big data is great. But beyond that, talk a little bit about why big data is not as useful in what kind of scenarios.
So the more time and energy and investment the buyer makes in evaluating their options, the more likely it is that the real thought process in that isn't going to be something that's captured digitally. And so you're going to capture what they're doing on your website and maybe what pages they visited, but never the why. Yeah. And for me, it's all about understanding what's really going on in their mind, what are the emotional points, high and low points, as they go through that decision. Because if I can get inside their mind about that, then I can be the one who looks like a perfect fit for that customer's needs. And that's my job.
So, you said something important though. I got to get into the buyer's mind. That seems difficult. You shared a very simple thing that we all ought to be doing. And what is that?
It's so simple that it seems crazy that I had to write a book about it. And some people say, well, this seems really simple, but no one does it. And that is find people who have just spent time making the buying decision you want to influence to come to your conference or buy your product, and ask them to tell you their story about from the very first day. So take me back to the day when you first decided that you might want to go to a conference and tell me what happened. And have them just walk you through every part of that, not unscripted, don't have a survey, just listen and ask people follow-up questions. And you'll learn so much more in 30 minutes than anyone could ever tell you.
And you gave us a warning though. Do not have your salespeople do this.
Yeah, and I know that's hard because people say to me all the time, but wait, our salespeople know our buyers, they interact with them all the time. Yeah. You know, but salespeople have an agenda. They listen with an agenda. And this is about listening without an agenda. It's really being very open-minded and curious and just listening. And because as long as that person knows they're being listened to us by a sales rep, they're going to hold back. And besides that, for most complex buying decisions, the buyer's not even engaged with your salespeople for most of the decision.
Yeah, that's why I think it's always been important that we have a separate marketing function separate from sales. Because as you also said, sales people's memory is kind of like the last lunch they went to. This isn't their thing to dig into and probe and get this information.
Exactly. Salespeople persuade one customer at a time. We want them to be great at that. We want them to stay right doing what they do. We're trying to find patterns and trends across a market full of buyers so that all the points in the buying decision where we can't have a sales rep there, that we have a chance to really be persuasive. And that's hard. And it just seems excessively hard and needlessly hard if we're sitting in rooms, meeting rooms, making this stuff up, and we could just ask people to tell us their story.
Yeah. Well, Adele, you wrote an amazing book. By the way, it is more than just, hey, ask them what their story is. The questions you put in there, the kind of things we have to think about, a process, a 5-step process that you gave people to think through this. This is something you're doing with some of the largest companies in the world. And what I loved is that it's things that us mere mortals can do as well. So Adele, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.